The following is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only.
NASA was founded on July 29, 1958, when then-President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, and operations officially began on October 1st of the same year. Since its inception, NASA lays claim to several of the United States, as well as the world's greatest achievements and discoveries. As with all claims, coming from government entities in particular, skepticism is quick to rush in, and many are quick to question the validity of the narrative. NASA is no exception to this natural questioning of its claims and answers, and is actually a conspiracy and truth-seekers' playground. Today, we will explore the true, uncensored origins of NASA, and let you decide just how trustworthy they really are. May 7th, 1945. Germany surrenders in France. 24 hours later, a second German surrender unfolds, marking an end to the fighting in the European theater. After the war, many Nazi officials, leaders, and prominent figures were subject to the Nuremberg trials, which took place on November 20th, 1945. Here, they were tried and sentenced to prison or death. Some managed to escape into hiding, never to be judged for their heinous acts. Some of these Nazi officials and affiliates, however, were exempt from trial and judgment. Over 900 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, many pledging allegiance to the Nazi Party, all having worked directly for the party, were quietly siphoned over to the United States by the government in what is known as Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip was started in 1945 by the United States Department of Strategic Services. Its goal? To secure as many of Hitler's former brains and craftsmen as they could. The operation began on May 8, 1945, but wouldn't be officially signed off by President Truman until the following year. Truman made it clear that any German who is found to be associated with the Nazi regime to immediately be disqualified from the program. This, however, was not what transpired. Operation Paperclip circumnavigated the president's requirement by falsifying documents and scrubbing records of the desired Nazi scientists and engineers. Whenever a German candidate was deemed to be of use to the Americans for rocket engineering, a specific colored paperclip was placed onto their portfolio files before being sent upward for final approval. This is how the operation got its name. By the end of the project in 1959, Operation Paperclip brought over 1,000 German scientists, engineers, and technicians from Hitler's Nazi Germany to work for the United States government, including the father of Massa himself, Werner von Braun. Werner von Braun was born on March 23, 1912. To a wealthy Prussian family. His father worked for the government under the Weimar Republic. His mother tied to European royalty. Because of this, von Braun enjoyed a privileged childhood and was able to receive his education from a boarding school, where he excelled at math and physics. It was during his time at boarding school that his interest in space and rocketry was piqued. Former students recall von Braun dreaming about sending a rocket to the heavens. In 1930, when he was 18 years old, Germany offered to fund his doctoral dissertation if von Braun agreed to covertly work on liquid-propelled rocketry. Hitler is elected in 1932, and von Braun's work begins to revolve heavily around the Third Reich. In 1939, he submitted an application for membership in the Nazi Party, claiming, however, that it was not for political reasons, but for purposes related to job security and communication within. He claimed to dislike the Führer, but never stopped working for him. In 1942, von Braun developed the V-2 rocket, the first long-range ballistic missile. This was a vengeance weapon used against Allied European cities. Jewish prisoners from concentration camps were sometimes used to construct these weapons. Some prisoners claimed von Braun would hand-select prisoners himself. After the German surrender in 1945, von Braun fled to the Bavarian Alps with other engineers. The United States quickly began planning to recruit these brains behind the Nazi superweapons, not wanting it to fall into Soviet hands or other Allied countries. These desired individuals were sought out and offered employment, often with threats and ultimatums. Von Braun originally tested ballistic rockets for the Army, based on his V-2 rocket design. In 1957, the Soviets launched Sputnik 1, pulling ahead in the space race. In turn, the American government heavily focuses on space exploration and rocket science. On July 29, 1958, NASA is founded, with much help from von Braun, as an entity solely focused on putting man into space. Von Braun was headquartered at the NASA facility and oversaw rocketry operations. Von Braun died in 1977, on June 16th, at the age of 65. On his tombstone, the book, chapter and verse number. Psalms 19:1.